Hi, I'm Andrew Stevenson, and in today's video we're going to make a simple bills/expenses tracker. I'll just set the document first. I'm going for a 6x9. I'll change the colour just in case we want to add colour, and I'll include the margins. So 0.325 for the inner margin. That is the one that would also incorporate the spine. It's affected by the thickness of the book. We're going for under 150 pages, so 0.325 is fine. And 0.25 for the rest. And the bleed, in case we add any images, 1.25. So we'll work on the master page because it is just going to be a simple tracker. It's going to be the same page repeated over however many times you need it. As with previous log/tracker books, we're going to use the table tool, and we are going to use some glyphs. That's exciting. Just introduce a new concept into the designing of them. So the table we will plan, I'll just draw it out small at the minute, and I'll align the text to the centre, and then if we open up the table tool there, we can mess about with the actual sizing. So for the height of each cell, I'm going to have it as 8 mil. And the width will be affected as we make more columns and rows. So that is it, I think, for in here at the minute. The columns I want will include the bill type, the date that it's due, the amount of the bill, how much you're going to pay, maybe any outstanding balance, and maybe a section for notes in case it's like you've made a purchase on a, say, interest-free 3-month term. Maybe if you use PayPal, they do a take 3 where you break the cost down over 3 payments and there's no interest. So we'll just draw out enough columns for that. So we'll say maybe 7 columns. And actually I think what I will do is I'll split it. Instead of having it on one page, I'll do it over 2. So we'll have 4 columns there. And we'll do 4 on the other side. So let's Control, Shift, click and drag. And we can edit this amount at any time, so it's not a problem. I will also just drag this to the bottom. So along the top is where we'll have the headings. And I think the way we'll plan it out is we'll have date first. Again, remember, all this can be changed, so don't panic if you've got it in a different order to how I'm doing it, or you think, oh, I don't want the date at the beginning, I want the bill type at the beginning. It can all be changed, it doesn't matter. So date, and then I will have bill. And then we'll have date due. So the first date is the date the bill comes in. That's the bill type. Date due, amount due, amount paid. I'm actually going to put, bring that along a little bit. I'm going to have notes there. I think another important thing to have is, I'll just put received there just to differentiate from the other date, and I'm also going to add a third date column here. I think this one's important because it's the date you made the payment. That way, if there's a discrepancy, you can check through your little log, find out what date you paid it, and then go to the relevant section of your banking. Now this last column is going to be a checklist for, you can instantly see on the right hand side which bills you've paid. So I will just type in paid there. And this is where we're going to use our glyphs. So I'll just show you that quickly. Highlight the text area you want to use, and then we're going to go to View, Studio, Glyph Browser. And this will have all of your fonts. And I'm going to use Wingdings. It's got all the fonts on there. And I'm going to look for a checkbox. And we'll just up that size to so that is the checkbox for the user to tick when they've paid the bill. Now, one thing I think that needs to be done is we have to merge some cells perhaps, because I think the notes section needs more than one line. So if we'll give it 2 lines. So I'll just merge these and see how they look. Leave that as is, so they have 2 lines to write on. I don't think that's too bad. Just a case of messing about with the sizings now. Remember, choose an appropriate font and an appropriate size. That doesn't need to be as big, but this does. So I think that's quite a useful setup to have. So I'll quickly replicate this along the rest of the columns. I'll also increase the line weight of this bottom area here, just to give an idea of a separate D, to break up the the bills. So to do that, just select the cells you want, click the bottom border, and I'll increase that to 3. I will repeat this all the way down So that's the basic look of the book. There are a couple of things that we're going to change now. First of all, you'll notice that I haven't adjusted the bottom cells. That's because I want to have a total column at the bottom, and I also want to bring the table down a smidge just to give us room at the top to have like month and year. So I'll just delete that, and I'll do the same one here. And then with them both selected, I'll just use the down key. Then that leaves enough space at the top to write date, month and year. And at the bottom we're going to have totals. So before I do that, I will just adjust these. I think notes still needs more room. So I'll make that smaller. There you go. But that leaves quite a bit of room to make some notes, and we need total columns for the amount due, the amount paid. So I will write total there, and then I'm going to just delete the lines from around these cells here. So to do that, we'll do them in stages. I'll remove the bottom ones first. And then I want the outer vertical to the left. Take you away. And then the middle. Yes, that's what I want, and I'll do the same here. Perfect. Another thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of depth to this, a little bit of colour. So highlight the entire row, go to fill, select grey, and then bring the opacity down. We'll say 30. That's fine to me, and we'll do the same here. Bring the opacity down to 30. Now we are going to add just a little text box, and we'll have just month maybe or week. That's probably a smidge big, so. And that's it. That is the simple monthly bills / expenditure tracker. Just go to your normal pages tab, right click, add pages. We'll say 100. And that's your book. There are things you can do. At the end of the book, you could add a totals section where they can work out how much money they've spent on each bill if you wanted to. I'm just happy with that the way it is, to be honest. I will just add one more page to make it even. Then also on the master's page, just to make it a little bit different, you can do what I always do, which is to add an image behind the table. So we will do that. First, find an appropriate image. So I've got a couple of images that I downloaded from Canva this time. I searched for money pattern and downloaded it as an SVG with a transparent background. So this is the first one. Which I quite like. I'll just Shift Control and then drag it across the rest of the document. And then again, Shift Control. Remember to cover your bleed. Then I'm just going to group all of those together. And then arrange and send them to the back. The next thing to do is to make the tables visible again, and for that I'm just going to make these ones white. So select all of the cells apart from the top, set the filter white, and then we'll need those two white, and that one. We also, because we made this transparent at the top, you can see the image in the background. We don't want that, so I'll just have to change that. Remove the transparency. And then I'll just knock the colour, make it a little bit paler. Perfect. And then to make sure that's the same shade, we'll just use the dropper tool. Another thing to do is I'll just draw a rectangle around the month. And I will just rearrange that. It's just all about, making little changes until you're happy with it. Just move that over slightly. And there we go, that's not a bad little tracker. What I like about this is that it introduces little checkboxes which help you, in future make more planners. Anything that needs to be checked off, use a checkbox instead of trying to draw a rectangle. And again, to do that, we went to View, Studio, and then the Glyph browser, and it's in Wingdings 1. It has to be inserted into an active text box. So if I was to click it now, it wouldn't go into anything because I'm not in a text box. If I'm in the table and double click, it'll go in there. Another thing I was toying with the idea of doing was to just play with the transparency tool a little bit, which is that glass there. And just to make it a little bit different. I'll just turn the guides off. It just makes it look a little bit different. The image is fading. I don't mind that at all. So that is it for today's video. If there's anything you take away from this, please make use of these checkbox glyphs. They're really handy for making any sort of planner, bullet journal, I know in bullet journaling there's like a key where you have a circle or a square or something, and each one, I'll just see if I can find something suitable. A little bit larger. And then you draw a line through it vertically or horizontally, colour it in, half colour it in, and each thing means either completed or moved to tomorrow, or the idea has been scrapped, the task has been scrapped. So for a checklist, instead of having squares, you could have a circle and have a key at the bottom with what each fill of the circle means, whether it be a cross, a square inside, or colour in, whatever. Google Bojo's Boris Johnson. Don't Google him. So that is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and like and comment on the videos. It really is appreciated and it helps me be seen. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time.